Is dat? Nou, iemand die heeft toch wel als een van de weinigen met de Beatles zelf gespeeld. Mr. Sheridan, may I say, Tony?
Of course, please go ahead. How are you?
I'm fine, how are you today?
Well, last night it was a bit cold because in Holland, I was in my hotel room, I was looking for the heater, but there was no heater. But this morning I looked and the fresh air thing and the heater are one. So I turned up the warm air.
So it was very cold in your room, I understand.
It was freezing.
Okay, you're the main guest here at the Beatle convention. You had an interview on stage. What was it all about? Because we were here and we could hear it. What are people interested in talking to you?
Well, most people are interested in not talking to me, but hearing some authentic answers to their questions. And it has mostly to do with the past, of course, because the past in Hamburg is a very important place, and lots of very positive things happened with the Beatles, with Paul especially. You know, he discovered practically overnight that he's a born bass player. He didn't know that before. And I said, well, Paul, great, but don't forget to play like a bass player, you know, like a this one, and he did.
You taught him how?
No, I didn't taught him. I said when I sing and you back me on stage, that's the way I want the bass to sound, like a real bass player. And it was so important for the group, for the Beatles actually, in the end, for somebody to be playing real bass and not just sort of a guitar bass like a frustrated guitar player or something, you know.
Because he was a guitar player before.
Well, in a way, but he was a born bass player, and if you're a born bass player and a singer, then you've got a lot of work cut out to do and sing and play the right notes at the same time, make no mistakes when you're singing. That takes a special talent.
You were a musician then, a professional musician, you could say. You're still a musician?
Yes.
Do you remember the time that you heard the news that they were going to back you on your next album or your next single or your next song?
Well, first of all, you've got it a bit wrong because we were already on stage together for a couple of months.
Professional already?
Not on stage, in the same club every night. For quite a long time. That's a lot of hours we played, like hundreds, maybe, you know. And by the time we got good together, that's when Bert Kemper from Polydor decided he would like to take us into the studio to play a couple of records. You know. And for us, the main thing in those days, the main thing in life was not God or religion or money. It was to make a record. So he gave us a chance to make a record. That meant you get a record and our name is on it, you know, and it's us on there. So we were trying not to look very enthusiastic, but we said, yes, yeah, okay, we'll come in the studio, we'll make a record. But on the inside, we were really enthusiastic. We were really, we couldn't wait to get in the studio, but we didn't want anybody to know that.
How did you do that and why was that?
Well, Bert Kemper, it was just the right place, the right time, the right people. Looking back, of course, historically, you can see all the reasons for whatever happened. You know, somebody had to play that role, somebody had to be that, you know, Horst Schlascher had to be in there somewhere, and Matt the Vice Leader. All these sort of characters meant something in the machinery of it all. But basically, it came down to these guys from Liverpool who were just really waiting for Ringo to get out of my group and go into their group. Then the Beatles were complete. The chemistry was complete, but only with Ringo. So Pete Best had to go. That meant he making a sacrifice in a big way. He doesn't know this, but if he were here, you know, he would listen to this now. But the fact is, he made a big sacrifice by making way for Ringo to go in. Very important indeed. Very, very, otherwise we wouldn't have any Beatles today.
Was it a sacrifice or was he just being sacked?
Sorry?
Was it a sacrifice by Pete Best or was he just being sacked?
Well, that's the sort of mundane way to say it. He was sacked. That's the in the press they would say they sacked him. You know, this is aggressive stuff. He was sacked. You know, that meant he could never sort of live again as a free human being. He got sacked by the Beatles. He got kicked out, right? But on another level, on a higher spiritual level, he made way for Ringo. So he sacrificed himself. And it was a big sacrifice.
Certainly was. Dat is wel een mooi verhaal eigenlijk, Arie. Kende jij dat op die manier?
Nou ja, Piet is natuurlijk hier op deze beurs ook wel eens geweest. En ik geloof niet dat hij daar zo'n spirituele lezing aan had gegeven.
Hij zelf niet.
Maar deze lezing vind ik mooi hoor, dus ik ga er graag in mee.
Yeah. This podcast is about Paul McCartney. You knew him then. Do you still know him?
Every few years we meet up again, and then after 5 minutes it's the same old scene, the same subjects we talk about. You know, what's he doing, what's she doing, do you remember him, do you remember that? And Tony, you did a great vocal on If You Love Me Baby. Oh, thank you, Paul. I mean, it all goes back to the old days again. There's nothing really new to talk about, because the past meant so much in Hamburg. They don't have any sort of adequate people to talk about it with. It was very restricted. You know, it was only a few
Small circle, you might say.
a small circle of people. So when they meet somebody like me who was actually involved in this sort of small academy of music, well, there are certain things that you remember immediately, and I think Paul, looking back, is very, very happy that he had this chance to play all night in a dirty club in St. Pauli on the Reeperbahn to discover his own musicality and his own creativity, which he did.
And when was the last time that you spoke to him?
Oh, about 3 or 4 years ago, something like that.
Did you go to one of his concerts lately?
Well, yeah, I got invited. You know, sometimes he actually sent a car up to my place from Dortmund, where he was playing, that's a few years ago, to pick me up and take me down again. I mean, that was a bit embarrassing.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because I'm just one of the boys, really, you know. But he wanted me to sort of see.
We all here would like to sit in that car, you know.
Well, no, why didn't you tell me before? Now, the thing is about Paul is there's a sort of a youthful side about Paul. He will also always be a little boy and a diva, and he wants to be in the limelight. He wants to be on stage. He will never. I think if he stops playing, he'll just die. But he will never stop playing. But he still wants friends from the old days to sort of listen to what he's doing now, and he wants them to go. If they go like this, it won't hurt him, but it won't change his life. But he takes notice of what people think and about what he plays.
I think you know him well. Do you like him?
It's not a question of liking. You know, we did not love each other. None of us loved each other. Paul and John didn't love each other. We had big, juicy egos. And big, juicy egos are not capable of loving. But we had big hearts. So there was affection there. You know, like affection. We never said, I like you, or I love you, or, you know, I feel a lot for you. But sometimes they showed it. They showed it, you know. You know, John Lennon would say, fuck off, Tony. And that meant, I love you.
Oh, that's a strange way of saying, I love you.
That was its way of saying something affectionate. And I didn't know that for a couple of years. And somebody said, well, in Liverpool, it's all like that. You know, if somebody loves you, they would say something like that. And, you know, I thought, oh, great. So it made my day when I heard that.
What are your plans for today and tomorrow?
I have no plans, man.
Just enjoying life?
Tonight I'll be riding on my horse into the sunset like John Wayne. You can see the horse's ass, the big fat horse at the back. What's the matter?
Oh, he can start the music now.
Did I say something wrong?
No, I was enjoying it.
Okay, yeah. Now, anyway, but I'll be riding into the sunset after I do the gig here. And I'll pop up again somewhere in Holland, or sometimes I go to Mexico, or play in Kazakhstan, in Russia, Brazil, you know, all over the world.
What's the first song you're going to sing this afternoon?
I don't know.
Okay, then we'll have to go there.
What do you mean I'm going to sing?
Oh, you're not?
Was somebody paying me?
I don't know.
Why am I here, man?
Alright, we gaan weer naar de muziek, denk ik, lijkt mij, Arie. Want dat staat af. Tony Sheridan, thanks for sharing these stories with us.
Thank you too.
I think you're looking great in that campaign.
Well, I wish I could say the same about you.
Ja, wat een man.